The king of WoW lore himself, Nobbel87, has returned to the game. That's crazy, right? And he's saying Dragonflight is worth coming back for. So he really loves the game, and I want to hear what he has to say as a returning player. Like, he didn't play for a long time. He actually moved over to Final Fantasy XIV and just recently returned to WoW with the release of Dragonflight. So yeah, let's see what he has to say.
Alrighty, let's get a little recording done, shall we? Hello everyone, Happy New Year if it's that time, your side of the world. I figured to sit down, do a little recording, and answer one of the questions that have been asked the most over the last month, which is Dragonflight worth it to get back into the game? I held off on giving a proper answer as an MMORPG, especially like World of Warcraft. It's incredibly difficult to say this is how the expansion is going to be. A prime example would be World of Draenor, where the hype was real, and ultimately the hype didn't really deliver. Whereas, for example, a Mr. Pandaria, where people were very skeptical at the beginning, in my opinion, Mr. Pandaria was one of the greater expansions that they've done. So it's incredibly difficult to say this is how the expansion is going to run. So please keep that in mind. This is purely on the launch. And in my opinion, with Dragonflight, where they came from, they have absolutely nailed the launch. I've been having...
But that's the thing with a lot of games, it's about the immersion. Like the immersion into the game and how much you are enjoying it over a longer period of time. That's what makes a game great. And with MMOs it's even more like that, because usually MMOs take a while to go through the story and all the zones and stuff. Like you can't give a true review after just a couple of days. Like you need several weeks of gaming experience inside the game that you are having a look into, right? So yeah, I get it that he's just coming now with it after, I think he's been back for like 3 months if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, that he's now just coming with that, it makes sense. Like play for a few months and then give your final review and say if the game is good or not. That's what I'm trying to do as well quite often. That's why sometimes you see me do a couple of let's plays to a game, and only after like episode 9 or 10 I give like sort of a review if the game is good or not.
A ton of fun with Dragonflight so far. And if you ask me, like, hey, I'm looking for a month for fun, is Dragonflight worth to come back into? I would definitely say yeah, 100%. The future, that's going to be decided by the patch content that it got planned.
True.
A really cool tidbit is that on Twitter, they've actually updated people with this is our roadmap, this is what we have in mind on what we want to do.
We need to have a look at
that. And obviously, some things might not come true, some things might change along the way, but at the very least, they are communicating. They are showing, like, this is what we have in mind, this is what we want to do for the expansion. And in my humble opinion, that is a great thing to look forward to. On top of that, people have also asked me, like, what do you think about Chris Metzen going back to Blizzard? What do you think that's going to mean for the future? And of course, that's also impossible to say. I am a big fan of Chris Metzen, and I was very sad to hear when they left the company.
Yeah,
so obviously,
I felt
to hear
the
them
same.
coming back to it and advise on the future of the game, yeah, for me, that's a positive. I'm hoping that's going to have a positive influence, but only time's going to tell.
It should have.
They are just one person. The company is definitely teams that make up of the expansions. And like I said, Dragonflight, the launch, at the very least, the beginning, has been quite awesome, at least in my opinion. So why? Why exactly would I say like Dragonflight's been great? Well, not the actual launch that's been awesome. Launch night was actually quite a disaster, and again, they communicated as to why this happened. They've been locking away content in order to stop data miners from getting to it, in order to get like cutscenes or stuff that they didn't want out to the public quite yet. And apparently that system clashed with the live servers, and it started sending packages and a whole bunch of technical information.
But that is what I think is very horrible, if you can get some leaks and stuff, because that actually ruins the excitement for a certain update or patch or something, because you know what's coming. Like, it is at some point like interesting, because you can kind of like figure out what's coming next, but at the same time it kills it kills the excitement once you actually explore this content, because you have seen it before. That's why I'm often saying that if you play a game with a little amount of information and not so many guides that you actually checked out, the game is more fun and it's like more exciting, and you feel more like you actually accomplished something once you got, let's say, a strong item, or you managed to make a lot of gold or something. Because then you know, oh, I've discovered something, I found something, I didn't have this information before. That's like my first time getting there. Wow, this is so exciting. This is the same with like zones and stuff. If like a new game comes out, and the more you actually look at like beta testing and stuff, Like, sure, you get like a lot of information, you will maybe have like a way easier time at the beginning, but it is less exciting. For me, I'm a content creator, so if I have to look at stuff before, because it's basically my job, you could say, right? So I have to look at stuff. But if I was just a player, I wasn't a creator, I would not, I'm serious, I would not look at any beta testing or anything. Like, I wouldn't have a look into anything. I would just wait until it's out and I would explore it. If I was just a player, not a creator, I would do this because I know this is more exciting and more fun. But yeah, I'm actually very happy that he's back because he's like one of my most favorite WoW creators out there. Like, I love his lore videos. I watched so many. I have like hundreds of hours of watch time on his channel at least. Like, seriously. So yeah, I'm glad he's back.
Sending packages and a whole bunch of technical information. I wouldn't be able to retell it, but at least it was cool to see like, oh, that's the reason why launch night went wrong. But for me, that wasn't a massive problem because I wasn't planning on doing the whole night anyways. So the next day I logged in, and while yeah, it's been laggy from time to time, it's been absolutely fine. Leveling has been a fun experience.
I didn't have much lag.
Has been great. Honestly, I feel for the last few expansions that leveling has always been great. Even Shadowlands, I love the start of it. So leveling's been great. Then at max level, I worried about, okay, what exactly are we going to be doing at max level? Like, what is your end game content? And a lot of it has been about the renown. This is something that I did not beta test with good reason. Like, I don't want to farm reputation on the beta. And these 4 things, the Dragonskill, the Maruk, the Ishkara, and the Valdraken, they offer you your weekly content. So for Dragonskill Expedition, I believe it's you follow a group along and you do a siege. For the Maruk, you join them on a grand hunt. On the Ishkara, you join them on cooking some soup. And for the Valdraken, oh lordy, what do you do for the Valdraken?
That's his highest level, actually.
Is that helping out Refion? Maybe, is it? Oh, lordy.
It's his highest level, but he doesn't know.
Maybe. See, that's how much I know
He's
about
level
the
13
expansion.
there.
So there are 4 major events you can do, right? So you can help out Ebonhorn and Civilian. That's a 1 time a week. You can do a grand hunt. That's a once a week. You can do the soup. That's a once a week. And then you can do the siege on the keep. That's also a 1 a week kind of deal. You can do it more. You can farm more. Like, you can farm keys to your heart's content in order to get your reputation up. You can do daily quests for the Tusker, and you can join the cooking every single time it's up, which is like every 3 hours. You can join the hunts every time they're up, and you can do like bi-weekly dailies for them. And you can join every single siege on the Obsidian Keep, but you don't have to.
What I like about those timely events, like they take just place on certain days or certain hours of the days, that you have something to look forward to. Like, you know, oh, tomorrow there's maybe going to be this, next week I can probably do this and stuff. Like, it was kind of like that also in BFA, right? Like with the world quest and stuff. Like, I actually like that kind of, because you have something you're looking forward to, right? And that's like exciting in my opinion. And yeah, by the way, guys, if you're new to this channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more content.
Each on the Obsidian Keep, but you don't have to, right? And that is a great feeling. That is one of the strong points, in my opinion, when it comes to Dragonflight. You don't have to. And that's great. Like, if you do your weekly thing, even if you don't do your weekly thing, like, what exactly do you miss out on?
It's not so punishing.
Once it comes to the renown, there aren't that many massive upgrades that you need for your character. There are some quest lines
like
in there, some story, which I'll get to in a moment, because that's definitely one
of
the
parts
that I would say
extras.
this is something you can improve on. But there isn't a massive need to get your renown up. You don't have to, if you don't want to. You can ignore the whole world quest system. You can ignore the whole renown system.
Yeah, it's not like Shadowlands.
Because, you know, at least on a weekly basis, it's perfectly fine.
Like, I think that's actually also evidence or proof that now Blizzard is listening more to their player base, because people were upset with like the way it worked with renown in Shadowlands, how you have to pick a covenant and you have to like grind it up, the renown, and it will make you stronger. Like, it was directly connected to the power level of your character. If you didn't have max renown and you didn't max out everything, like, you would really be much weaker and stuff. So I'm actually glad that it's more like tied to like freaking cosmetics and maybe some recipes and stuff, because I think this is way better to get like extras from those, and you have something you can grind for at end game, but it's not necessary to be in end game, if that makes any sense, right? So yeah, I like that too.
But the problem of being burnout on content that you're gonna do over and over and over again isn't really there when you don't have to. So there's no necklace, there's no artifact, there's no covenant system. And that has created a game in which I want to log into rather than a game in which I feel like I need to log into.
Yeah, it's less of a chore.
Those paying attention might have also noticed, like, hey, you're on a different character right now, which is true. I
made a new one?
Say hello to my little demon hunter. Balancing is another issue that Dragonflight has. Again, I'll get back to that in a moment. But this character dinged yesterday. And it took me like 2 days, 2 evenings, I should say, to get it from 60 to 70.
Yeah, it's so fast.
With the current brawls going up, they are currently fully PvP geared, so we can go into the solo brawls. This character has been purely created for me for PvPing, as that's really something I've been enjoying. I'll pop over to the Paladin as we'll talk about the PvE side of things, right? So endgame mainly is Renown. If you're looking for your solo content. But then there's also the standard PvE content. So we have raiding and the Vault of Incarnates. In my humble opinion, I've had a lot of fun with it. Now, again, you'll have to forgive me. I haven't done that much group content as of yet. This is also a reason why I got into PvP. Because I find it, the time investment, the social aspect, it's difficult. But the time that I have spent in the Vault of Incarnates has been wonderful. I like the fights. I think Razakev is one heck of an end boss fight.
The mechanics really feels, are cool.
Even on normal, like you are fighting a proper end boss. So the raid's been done, right? And then the ending of the raid, the storyline is going to flow forward into the next patch, into the next content for the expansion. Then, on the other side, you can do Mythic Plus. And if I go into Group Finder, if we look at what we've done so far, these are all my timed keys. I have done a plus 11 or plus 14, I think. Just didn't time it. I think I was a plus 11. And for me, Mythic Plus, it feels like there's definitely some work to be done in the category of balancing. Some of these dungeons outweigh the difficulty of some of the others. Like the Ruby Life Pools, but there's just a couple of them in there that are like, okay, if I go to Shadow Moon Burial Ground...
I think it's like certain mechanics and stuff as well. Like you have sometimes like those Mythic Plus dungeons where you barely need to move your character. Like you can literally focus purely on making DPS. And then you have like others where you're constantly on the move. You like, you're going to miss a lot of damage because you constantly have to try to dodge stuff, right? So I think it depends on what kind of mechanics they also add into. And there are like some that have like one-shots that are just insane and stuff. Like you have to immediately do something or you're just gone and stuff. And others are like more forgiving. And I'm not sure if this is intended or when they actually designed those, they said, oh, you know what, this one is... The mobs are weaker, but you have to dodge more. This one is, the mobs are a bit stronger, but you don't have to dodge something. Like, I wonder, like, how they thought, like, what was their thought process when they, like, tried to balance them or made them? Like, did they want certain dungeons to be more mechanic focused and others more DPS focused? Or, I don't know. Like, this is why it's, like, so unbalanced, because I sometimes think they wanted to focus in one dungeon on one aspect of like, difficulty, right? One is more about mechanics, one more pure DPS checks and phases you have to get through, otherwise you're in trouble. Like, this is something I'm not sure about.
Rounds, it's super easy. If I go to the Ruby Life Pools, I'm going to have a very hard time. So balancing wise, there's definitely some work to be done there. And of course, this balancing you also find back in the classes. Right now, I would say a Demon Hunter or a Dragfear. Like a Dragfear, it's the new class added to the expansion. Nobody's surprised that they're overpowered. Yet at the same time, I will say that with the new talent system that they added, I am really, really happy with this.
Yeah, I like it too.
I am not the type to be figuring out my own builds. I'm not the type to be figuring out like, okay, these are the talents that work specifically for me. But what I will do is Google, and I will get a different playstyle depending on what we're doing. So I got a different build.
You have more variety too.
I got a different build for boss fights that are mainly single target. I got a different build for Mythic Plus. And at least on the Paladin, they offer me enough of a different playstyle. Again, I Blizzard, if you're listening, I wouldn't mind some buffs to the Paladin. Like, it's a little bit ridiculous how hard we have to work for our numbers, but that doesn't matter. That's neither here nor there. At least there's different
like that for
playstyles
years,
to be offered, and you can swap in and out at your leisure. And I find that fantastic because it keeps things fresh, right? Okay, so endgame. Rating, like I said, I've done normal. I poked around in heroic just a little bit, and, you know, numbers are a little bit up, but it's not massive. LFR, I don't really get, Blizzard, why you still release the Wings of LFR at a delayed pace. We are currently on week 3, week 4. We're waiting for the new wing to open up. I'm not exactly
Maybe they have some problems with that, like, but that's actually good if they release it late, okay, like people are upset. But if there are like some issues or bugs, I would rather have them fix them first and it comes out a bit later than it comes out as a disappointment. This is what I always criticize about games that are being too early released or expansions where stuff is just cut short, that it makes no sense and stuff. Sometimes I'm even wondering if Shadowlands became also a mess because they rushed it or something, and that was like sort of disconnected or confusing, or some quests could have been stretched a bit more so people can actually understand what's like happening. So yeah, I think we should always think about it like that way. If something comes out a bit later or is delayed, it should come out in a better quality than if it would have come out if it was on time, right? So this is something we always need to take into account.
sure why that's been decided. Like, I know that you want people to go into normal, and I know that you want people to go into that content, but believe me when I say, those that want to do normal right now, they're doing normal. Like, you've done everything in your power to make normal accessible. I would really, really, really love to see LFR open up a little bit sooner. Like, it doesn't have to be day one, don't get me wrong, but we're nearly a month now? Probably. And we're not even on the second wing, and I'm like, yeah, everybody wants to see the fights, right? But that's little old me's opinion. Also, when it comes to Mythic Plusing, I'm not a huge fan of the new fix. Like, the Thundering one isn't overly interesting. I do believe that Mythic Plus can deserve a little love and attention. Again? Maybe even a different gearing set. Like, you've done a wonderful job with your PvP sets. For those that are unaware, right now with PvPing, they've... hello, leave me alone. They've done it in such a way that the item levels actually scale when you do certain content. Which makes it that it's really, really easy to gear up to get into this kind of content.
Yeah.
Okay, rating, Mythic Plusing, the World Quest and the Renown and all those systems surrounding it. That's what you do at Endgame. What else is there? Oh yeah, the Renown. Like I said, there are certain quest lines, certain storylines that are linked to the Renown system. And for the future, I would really like to see that the Renowns no longer offer major storylines. What do I mean with major storylines?
Yeah.
There's been one for the Gardens, which we recently covered, which drops some massive lore bombs, which is a continuation of storyline build-up in Shadowlands.
This is also what Nixium criticized, and what I also don't like, because you're like wasting some time when you want to progress with the story, because you have to grind for your story basically. And why can't you just explore your story and just go through it? Why you have to grind for it? And then you have like those breaks, right? Because you need to do something first so you can advance. And yeah, this is one of the cons of the downsides of like all that, right? Like there was like a lot of good. Like, I'm not trying to hate on Dragonflight. I think it's a good expansion, but this is one of the cons of the things I'm not really a big fan of.
Some massive lore bombs, which is a continuation of storyline build-up in Shadowlands. It dropped some huge things. And what happened is that somebody got really, really fast into the game. They got like an alt up, they blasted through the Renown levels, and they got to that quest line before anyone else even had an opportunity to get there. Which means that it was spoiled on the internet. So your whole system, which caused your launch day to go blow up in your own face, also means that if somebody blasts through your Renown levels, now they get to spoil the storyline, which isn't the greatest experience. I also feel with the Dragon Skill Expedition, like I'm trying to reach 24. And on my main, as you can tell, like I'm currently 22. I'm waiting for the Dark Moon Fair to open up, which might actually be open up right now. No, it's tomorrow. I'm waiting on the Dark Moon Fair to open up, and then I'll be tossing in tokens, and I want to get Dragon Skill Expedition done. Problem is that you put a quest line all the way at rank 24, which felt to me like, okay, now I need to blast into getting 24 done. So I've been going across the Isles, been getting dirt patches. It doesn't make for a great fun experience. So on the other hand, I do understand why you put storyline behind the Renown, because story is just a great motivator for people to actually go through those levels and get it done. Yeah. What I would like to see is that major storylines, like a reward. So think, for example, a Gardens, or I'm pretty sure rank 24 with the Dragon Skill as well. Those major storylines are just released on a timely base, be it weeks, be it months, be it whenever you want to crank that switch so that everybody gets it. And then a slice of life storyline, for example, the Tusker one. I don't think anybody would be upset for the Tusker one to be somewhere in the Renown levels, because it doesn't offer a major story change, yet at the same time it adds a bit of fun. It adds a bit of flavor, and of course the whole hunter being able to tame them with a storyline has been kinda amazing. That would be my recommendation when it comes to the renown. Beyond that, I love the renown system. Like, there's no massive reason to actually farm these levels out, unless you want to. Unless you want to get these rewards as quickly as you can. How cool was it for people to have the Black Dragon Skill skins for the dragons because they farmed out Rephion and Sibelian, or just Rephion, I believe. How cool was it to see them pop up and be like, oh, how do you get that skin? And you realize, like, they've actually been farming it a lot, and they've been putting a lot of time and investment, and so...
This is what sometimes happens when I'm on my Time Lost Proto Drake. Oh, how did you get it? What can you do so you can get this and stuff? Or if I'm like on my Void Talent. And I just say, hey, go on my channel and check out my guide or something. No, but seriously, like, if you get something unique or rare or something that you have to grind for a lot, and sometimes like you have like those players actually whisper you and be like, hey, can you tell me how to get it and stuff, like it feels great. At least like I like this kind of feeling, because it feels like you really accomplished something and others are like they want to have the same, right? So it's kind of like a cool feeling. I like that. And it makes you feel so rewarded, right, for doing that.
So they look unique for the bit. Like, oh, that's really, really cool. Love that.
Yeah.
On the left here, we also see a new feature added with Dragonflight, which is dragon riding. And this is one of the things that even on the beta times,
it's
I
fun.
could honestly,
I love it.
wholeheartedly say, wow, you've done a fantastic job with the dragon riding. Dragon riding, I'm hoping will be a staple of the game. I'm hoping that in the future we'll see more mounts with more abilities and more flexibility. Like, how many times have I not heard people say like, oh man, I really wish dragon riding was available in the older content. This is just a system, you nailed it.
Yeah.
Like, you've made it so much fun. And especially because you made the very wise decision, and this also goes for renown. Let me head on back to the Demon Hunter and show you. This expansion is extremely alt friendly, which means that... Okay, my story. I was playing a paladin, and I was having a lot of fun. I was doing BGs, I was doing rated content, and I was like, oh, cool, you know, we're getting somewhere. But then I realized, you know, the Drakfear, the Demon Hunters, they are popping off like no tomorrow. And you know what? For a change, I wouldn't mind feeling overpowered. You know, for a change, I wouldn't mind being the Batman running across the battlefield. So... I decided to level up my Demon Hunter. Like I said, it took me like 2 nights to get it to max level. With the current comp stomp that's going on, armor farming is really, really easy. But another thing that they've decided is that dragon riding, once you got these tokens, these glyphs, they are account wide, so you don't have to do it again. When it comes to renown, they've decided that once you reach level 10 and once you reach level 20,
you can buy it on all sides.
The next character that does it gets a reputation buff.
Oh!
So they will get the renown as they go through the quest that much quicker. So don't have to worry about farming it again. There's a weekly quest in which you have to get like renown across the isles. That for your ult will be available the moment that they get onto the Dragon Isles. You can decide what zone you want to level in. So if you're like me and you're not a big fan of the Onaran Plains, then you can say, you know what, I'm just going to go to the Wakey Shores, Tilt Restus, and Azure Span, do all the quests there. I don't really have to bother about it. Like I said, they have made it incredibly alt-friendly, popping off into this PvP gear, which again has been a major drive for me, because PvP has just been a lot of fun to dive into by myself. I don't have to worry about getting a group. I don't have to sign up to Mythic Plus and be rejected time and time again just to don't have the rating.
Solo queue is great.
I don't have to be there at a certain time.
Like, this is what I love about solo queue, because like it's so hard sometimes, especially if you're a busy person or if you have like kids and stuff, that to find like the exact time when you can be online and stuff. Like, there are like even some people that say, oh, with Dungeon Finder, like they like the old system, like zone chat and stuff. But trust me, if like your life gets busier or you have like shorter hours a day to actually play a game, like you are so happy if you have a solo queue or Dungeon Finder or stuff, right? It makes just your life so much more simpler, and you don't have to stand around somewhere for hours and wait for people to log in. Because this time that you're wasting waiting for someone in your life, you never get this back. Like, time is the most precious we have in our lives, right? So I think it's good to have solo queue. You can get straight into PvP action. You don't need to wait for anyone to log in. And if you still want to wait for someone to log in, you want to make appointments with people, you can still do them. Nobody's stopping you from that. But just now you have the option too. You can just solo queue. So yeah, I think it's great. I like it.
I could just pop in, pop out, and I can do my arenas. I can do my battlegrounds. It's actually been... it's been a new kind of way for me to play this game and actually go into kind of stuff. So yeah, we're at the start of the journey, but I'm definitely enjoying the Demon Hunter.
Should I grind up one
too? Oh yeah, the invasions, the elemental invasions. That's content that they added, not a massive thing. So for wondering, okay, cool. So you've done your renown, you're working your Dragonscale expedition. For me, a big thing that I always love to do is get like achievements. So I've been looking at the exploration tab, and I've just been getting statues and toys and going across the map. There's a lot of cool little places you can explore. The art team, of course, delivers. The zones have been very nicely designed. There's little tidbits to be found here and there, like an underwater club, or like an underwater club, or a secret inn where they're holding a brawlers fight one day and then a dance party the next. There's just a lot of things you can explore amongst the Dragon Isles. And then, of course, the major thing, because we've been talking about content, and for me, the game... Oh, delirious, you're doing Torgus, you poor thing. Like, the gameplay needs to be there. So like I said, I've enjoyed the rating. Razagev was amazing. Mythic Plus, I'm not a major fan of the new fix, but, you know, Mythic Plus be Mythic Plus. There needs to be some balancing when it comes to some of the dungeons, but
yeah,
it's been fine.
I agree.
It's been fine. It's been fun enough to run through it with a couple of friends. And like I said, PvPing has really been my jam in this expansion, which is weird because I've never really been into PvP. Like, yeah, okay, I poked around at it sometimes, but not as much as Dragonflight's been luring me in, and that's mainly because it's so easy to get into right now. The whole getting your necklace, getting your artifact, getting your gear, you can catch up really, really quickly. So with the item level boosting itself in the content, all of a sudden it's about your skill level, it's about the class that you play, and then your skill level, and that's just, yeah, that's a lot of fun in my humble opinion. So yeah, been getting these achievements, been working on my renown. I will say, once I'm like friendly with Sibelian, I'm more than happy to not do that reputation anymore. Once this is full, I'm quite happy with, okay, cool, we've done the renowns. But like I said, once Dragonscale hits level 24, I don't feel the pressure anymore. Like, what reason do I have to farm renown? Like, okay, cool, I'm gonna get Snow Fun, and I'm gonna get tackle boxes. Oh, awesome, I'm gonna get some shoulder pads. Mm-hmm. There's nothing in here that makes me go like, whew, I need to be there right now. So yeah,
Yeah, but that's why it feels so good, because you don't have this kind of pressure. Like, I feel like it's so much pressure if you have like your friends and they're doing like very high M+ keys, doing like the heroic raids and stuff. And you're like, shit, I want to group with you too, but my renown here, like, I didn't farm enough, and look, I haven't unlocked this, and it will make me strong enough to be on the same level as you guys, so yeah, wait for me a couple of days or weeks or something. Yeah, this is, like, now you're actually encouraged to do this, because if you go in, you have this positive feeling, because you see, oh, there's null backpacks, for example, or oh, there's this one battle pad or something. Like, you get some sort of motivation why you want to do that, but you know this motivation is not like a game changer, right? So it's kind of like, you can do this, but you don't have to. But if you do it, you get some reward. And that feels great, because this motivates you, because you go in with a positive view. If you're doing it under pressure, like you have to and stuff, and then you always look, oh, today I don't have enough time, or oh, I can't, I have to wait for next week, this and that. Like, it is so much pressure, I think. So this is good. This doesn't give pressure to the players.
I need to be there right now. So yeah, did I just see a normal raid there?
Community raid, yeah.
Bosses defeated Razagev. That's interesting. How the heck did you defeat Razagev and are still doing normal? I guess you're popping over to heroic. Okay. Sorry, I got sidetracked there. Right. Long story short, as I've been rambling on for 18 minutes just before the turn of the year. Long story short, I've been absolutely enjoying the crap out of Dragonflight. And for those that have been asking me, like, too. Is it worth it to come back into? If you're looking for more WoW, if you're looking for that experience, if you got burned out on all the systems that you had to keep up with, then I would say Dragonflight is definitely a thing to come back for. Will it last? Will the next patch be the content that we need to keep it going? Hard to say. Very hard to say. Only time is going to tell. I've seen some good signs. I've seen a roadmap. I've seen some developers talk about the things they got in mind. Story-wise, that's my jam. What do I think about the story so far? It's safe. It's nothing massively out there, but at the same time, it's incredibly enjoyable. They've been dropping hints as to where we're going next, like what the patch content is going to bring. And they've been dropping these hints, not right into your face, but definitely in like the achievement content or like side stories. You could tell like, oh...
It's good.
Oh, that's where we're gonna go. Oh, I see. So, yeah, I'm excited about what the future's going to bring. There's been some whispers. It's definitely a lot more solid than Shadowlands was. And, yeah, despite not liking the story behind it now, I'm enjoying it well enough. Yeah, and I'm really, really excited to see what the expansion is going to bring. So yeah, just wanted to answer that question in a very rambly way. Sorry for taking 20 minutes.
That's
hope
all right.
you enjoyed it all the same. Like I said, have a wonderful new year, everybody. Thank you
too.
so much for making 2022 insane. The ups and downs, it's been absolutely insane because I've had all of you along the way after so many years.
Yeah, it's good that
It's
you're
been
back.
great. Have a wonderful New Year's, and we'll see each other next year. Bye-bye. Oh, wait, no, we need to do it properly. Until next time.
Okay, that was funny. But yeah, I feel like, am I the only one that sees it that way? But I feel like the most negative feedback is that stuff is locked behind some rep grind, right? Like, I mean, story-wise. I often hear this, like, if I hear, like, people review Dragonflight, what they don't like about it, they always say, oh, that you need to grind for the story and stuff. Like, why can't we just do the story immediately and stuff? Why we must grind for it first? I think that's, like, what I heard the most often as a negative feedback. There are like a few individuals that are not happy with the talent system. I don't get why they are not happy. Maybe they find it too complex. I actually like the talent system because now you can actually have one class spec, and in this one class spec you can go different sort of builds basically, right? By choosing this kind of row of talents or this one, right? So I think this is very, very cool because it adds like variety. And more variety is always good in MMOs because now you have more ways to play the game. What I think is a big positive for me at least, because I love to like theory craft and sometimes come up with like some interesting builds or do something that others are not doing, and then I discover, oh, this is actually good. Maybe this could be the new meta or something like that. That's actually always funny. Like, I loved actually doing this in, for example, games like Elder Scrolls Online. There were like new sets introduced, and some people said this kind of set is the meta, and I picked up another set just to test it. I did a duel and I actually beat the person that had the supposed to be meta set and stuff, and then some people actually were using the other set. And now you have this in WoW with like talents. And the only thing is like one thing I sometimes wished for, the dragon eyes were even bigger. Like, they're not super small, but what if they were even bigger and stuff, and you have like more to explore? But I think it's impossible because they need like way more time for that then. And I hope like we're getting some other expansion also, like maybe like 1.5 years or 2 would be nice. But yeah, they're going to the right direction, and I think Microsoft is also to thank for that because they took over, right? And they saw that there's still potential in World of Warcraft, and they also saw that there's like a negative development. So what I'm seeing, what I'm thinking is that Microsoft is actually saving the game, and I think they're going the right direction. I'm also liking Dragonflight so far. And I actually want to make a new alt. Like, this video makes you want to also maybe get a Demon Hunter up. But I'm also like, I like Shadow Priest kind of. I've never really played Shadow Priest much. I've never maxed one out. But I would probably go for like something like Demon Hunter, Shadow Priest, and max it again. Because right now I'm mostly on my Hunter. I'm also like having an Evoker I'm grinding up. Dragthier is fun, like Evoker. But yeah. What do you guys think about Dragonflight? Do you think it's worth coming back for? Do you have like a good first impression? Like, let me know in the comment section. And if you guys are new to this channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more content. If you guys enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give this one a thumbs up. I wish everyone a wonderful day. I will see you guys next time.